Welcome to the Next Wave of Digital Video. I'm Tony Reale.
And I'm Ben Carlson.
And today we are super excited to be working on another project for our virtual production studio.
It's Snow Day!
It's the screen there. We're actually shooting motion control today. We've got our Kessler CineDrive system. We've got our FX6. The reason we're shooting with the FX6, we've been shooting with the Blackmagic Ursa in the past, but we're shooting with the FX6 today because the FX6 can shoot really well in low light. And when we're shooting against the screen, sometimes we need to get that extra bump to get this, let the screen be bright. We want it to be bright enough that it's that it feels like it's the outdoors, that it's the, you know, it's lighting the environment. And if the screen is just even a hair too dim, you suddenly lose that effect. We really want that screen to be lighting up the background of the town. So we're going to use the FX6 because we can really bump up the ISO on that without losing quality and fidelity. And then we're going to be popping it on the CineDrive. We've got a snow machine. Ben's going to get garbed up. It's only 80 degrees up, and he's going to make it look like he's in negative 20. All right, we have our snow environment that we're going to try with this test. We actually got this free on the Unreal Marketplace, but it had this kind of cool snow drift going on, but we want snow flying because we're going to use a snow machine. And so Ben's been working on that.
Yeah, and so one of the first things that we did is what we've kind of been doing for all of the process and learning Unreal is we went to the mighty YouTube. And there's a lot of great information, but not all of it applies to every project. Some is for an older version of Unreal, some is for a newer version, some are for plugins that we don't necessarily have. So trying to find the best fit. And I thought I found one, and then it wasn't even close. So then we do what we do best is we go hunting. And inside this free scene, they actually give, for effects, found a snow folder. And sure enough, we found the snow effects, dragged it in, and we were able to click here. We have this really great particle effect coming in, and this should match up hopefully pretty closely with when we have our snow machine going in the scene. So we'll have the snow blowing across left to right, and then we'll have the snow blowing across left to right in the scene. So a little guess and check, but it's working out, and that's kind of the fun of discovering all this. So it's all about exploring and just really kind of getting to know the software as best we can.
All right, we are set up for our first take. We got Ben over here in full garb. He is, it's 80 degrees in here, and he's way hotter than that, so we're gonna try and do this quick.
32 in my mind.
32 in his head, he says. All right, we have our CineDrive head with our move programmed in with CineDrive right here. The move is programmed in. We have our snow machine right up there. Here's the remote control. I'm going to try and do all this at the same time. Probably should have an extra hand, but we don't. So here we go. I'm going to roll camera. Camera's at speed. I'm going to actually, one quick thing I'm going to do here, around you quick, Ben, is I'm going to tilt this a little bit away from Ben so it's not going in his face. Then I am going to start the snow machine before we roll or start the move. All right, Ben, take a little bit of a step back. Yeah, right there is good. I am now going to start the snow machine. And we got CineDrive. CineDrive is moving. So it's a few days later, and I've had a chance to review the footage, and the truth is, I think there's a lot that I like, but there's a ton that we need to improve upon before this is ready for us to include in our professional productions. First thing, and most noticeably, is the lighting. Like, we had a scenario that is really difficult to recreate in studio lighting. That soft, giant, overcast overhead light. It's really hard to try and create that light in a studio because you want that big single light source, and I have lots of smaller light sources, and so it's hard to not get that multiple light look. We got close, but still not close enough. Another thing to note is that the projector itself is 5600 Kelvin. That's the light source that it projects, and all the lights that I have are bicolor. I can switch them to daylight or tungsten. But when the background is also somewhat blue, it makes it challenging because I can't make my daylight lights more daylight, so I would have to add like color temperature blue gels and stuff. So that's another thing I can improve to try and get the talent to match the background, is colorizing the lighting to match that better. In the environment, we had some challenges, of course. You'll notice the sky was just completely blown out. We were trying to fix that in the software in Unreal, and we're not having luck with it. I don't know why it wasn't working, but we ran out of time, and so we just kind of had to use it the way it was. So in the future, we'll want to make sure that we can really dial in the entire environment and get it to look the way that we want it before we start rolling. And probably most noticeably is the snow. You know, we set up the snow in the engine and basically just let it run, and when we got to actually shooting, we noticed that our snow density wasn't quite matching what was hitting the talent, wasn't quite matching what was in the background. So again, it would have been nice to go back into the software and tweak the density of the snow, the angle of the snow. You know, our snow was falling more downward in person. You know, we could have had, if I had more people back here, we could have had maybe a fan or a leaf blower operator that could kind of get the snow to be more directional. But in the software, it was, you know, moving sideways, but in person, it was falling more downward. So our snow machine actually has two settings. It has a light snow and a heavy snow option. The light snow I find to be a little bit more realistic, but the heavy snow is matching the density more so of what it was on the screen behind it. But the problem with the heavy snow is sometimes you start to see the clumps of the suds, so it didn't work as well on camera. So these are all lessons that we learned in this process, and these are things that we can do moving forward, we can improve upon, so that hopefully our next production will look even more realistic until we're ready to go mainstream. And we actually do have a few projects coming up for some clients, so hopefully we can shoot some behind the scenes of those and show you our process. But I hope that you've enjoyed this behind the scenes of update number 3 for our virtual production studio. Like I said before, we've got a lot more to come, so stay tuned.